Good morning. This is Dr. Michelle Deering of Curative Connections, here for another Mothering Motivation Monday. Last week, I actually started a series about, the 5 things that adult daughters need from their moms. And just as a review, those 5 things are: they need you to be accountable and need you to hold them accountable instead of enabling them. They need you to have a dialogue with them instead of dictating. They also need you to understand them instead of undermining them. They need you to love them instead of lining them up for an "I told you so." And they also need you to thank them instead of taking them for granted. So I just want to highlight the A part, which is holding them accountable. I found that it's interesting that a lot of times when I look and work with moms and work with moms and daughters, that moms tend to sometimes try to hold their daughters accountable as older adults. They're saying and expecting that you're able to do something, but they haven't really fostered competence in them, in that they haven't really taught them the specifics about what it is they're expecting them to do. So for instance, and let's just take this as an example, an adult daughter ought to be off and able to manage her own finances and do her bills. If you have a young adult daughter who is out there figuring it out, great. Some schools actually have such classes, but as a mom, there's something to be said for actually going alongside and sitting down with your daughter and showing her how you go about doing bills, balancing a checkbook, things of that nature. Okay, so fostering competence is the first step to actually having grounds to actually hold your daughter accountable. The second step with regards to holding her accountable is to actually relinquish control. Really just give her the space to actually do it on her own. It's great if before, say for instance, before they go off to college, or even before they go off to live out on their own, in their own, apartment or things of that nature, really relinquish some control and let her do it on her own. And communicate to her that you actually will be there if she has any questions, okay? But don't do it for her. Just slowly relinquish that control. And I know for a mom, we've carried them for such a long time, that can be hard, but trust me, as you relinquish control, they'll actually start gaining some confidence and competence with regards to stuff that you're holding them accountable for. And then lastly, support the consequences that might happen in the event that they don't do what it is you're holding them accountable for, or they do it the way you wouldn't do it, and however it turns out. Let them experience what it is that happens as a result of their own actions. Because it's really important developmentally for a young adult woman to actually start taking ownership of the consequences of her actions in an environment where only she is accountable to herself. Okay, that's what you eventually want to have happen. And you as a mom coming alongside her as a encourager, and training her to actually be accountable, you'll actually help her hold that accountability within herself instead of looking to you as the person to blame should things not go properly or the way that she would have hoped. Okay? Because that whole dynamic of blaming someone else or well, you told me to do X and not taking responsibility, that whole dynamic is really something, part of what underlines a lot of the mother-daughter conflicts. So you as a mom, really just hold your space, all right? Smile, speak encouragement to her, letting her know that she is capable, and hold her accountable instead of enabling and doing everything for her. So be encouraged. Try that out. I'd love to hear from you in terms of how it's going with your adult daughter. Again, this is Dr. Michelle Deering of Curative Connections from Mothering Motivation Monday. I'll see you next week with the next installment of this series.